Have you ever stopped to think about why a fruit you've trusted your entire life might suddenly become a risk after 70? It's a question most of us never consider, especially when it comes to something as seemingly harmless as a banana. For decades, you've been told that bananas are the perfect snack, packed with energy, easy on the stomach, and loaded with nutrients your body needs. But recent findings in cardiovascular medicine are challenging that assumption, particularly for those of us in our golden years. Today, we're going to explore why cardiologists are now recommending that seniors approach bananas with caution, and more importantly, what you can do to protect your heart, kidneys, and overall vitality as you age. Let's start with something you probably already know. Bananas are rich in potassium, a mineral that's essential for keeping your heart beating steadily, your muscles working properly, and your blood pressure in check. For most of your life, that potassium has been doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But here's what changes after 70. Your kidneys, which have been quietly filtering your blood and removing excess minerals for 7 decades, start to slow down. This isn't a sign of disease necessarily, it's simply part of aging. But when your kidneys can't clear potassium as efficiently as they once did, that harmless banana can become a problem. When potassium builds up in your bloodstream, a condition called hyperkalemia, it doesn't just sit there doing nothing. It interferes with the electrical signals that keep your heart beating in rhythm. You might notice you're feeling more tired than usual or experiencing dizziness that comes out of nowhere. Some seniors report heart palpitations, that fluttering sensation in your chest that makes you stop and catch your breath. In severe cases, too much potassium can slow your heartbeat dangerously or even cause cardiac arrest. This isn't meant to frighten you, it's meant to inform you because knowledge is the first step in taking control of your health. Consider George, a 75-year-old gentleman who loved starting his day with 2 bananas. He thought he was doing everything right, eating healthy, staying active, following his doctor's orders. But he began experiencing irregular heartbeats that left him feeling weak and confused. When his cardiologist ran blood tests, they discovered his potassium levels were dangerously high. The solution wasn't complicated. George simply reduced his banana intake, and within weeks his symptoms disappeared. His heart rhythm stabilized, his energy returned, and he learned an important lesson about how his body's needs had changed with age. Now, if you're taking medications for your heart or kidneys, and many seniors are, this potassium issue becomes even more critical. Certain blood pressure medications, ACE inhibitors, angiotensin receptor blockers, even some diuretics, they all affect how your body handles potassium. Some of these medications actually cause your body to retain potassium rather than excrete it. When you add a daily banana or two on top of that medication, you're essentially asking your body to manage a mineral load it's no longer equipped to handle. This is why it's so important to have an honest conversation with your doctor about your diet, not just your prescriptions. But let's say your kidneys are doing fine and you're not on any medications that affect potassium. Does that mean bananas are safe for you? Not necessarily, and here's why. The second major concern revolves around blood sugar, something that becomes increasingly unpredictable as we age. Bananas contain natural sugars, glucose and fructose, which cause your blood sugar to rise fairly quickly after eating them. When you were younger, your pancreas responded efficiently, releasing just the right amount of insulin to bring that sugar back down. But after 70, your body's insulin response changes. Your pancreas doesn't work as quickly and your cells become less sensitive to insulin signals. What this means in practical terms is that eating a banana can cause a sharp spike in your blood sugar, followed by an equally sharp crash. You know that feeling when you eat something sweet and feel energized for about 30 minutes, then suddenly you're exhausted, maybe even a little dizzy or shaky. That's your blood sugar dropping too fast, but the effects go beyond just feeling tired. Every time your blood sugar spikes and crashes, it causes stress on your blood vessels. The walls of your arteries become damaged, they lose their elasticity, they become stiffer. Over time, this increases your risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Patricia, a 78-year-old woman, used to eat a banana every morning with her coffee, thinking it was the healthiest way to start her day. But she noticed she was feeling increasingly fatigued by mid-morning and her blood pressure readings were becoming erratic. Her doctor suggested she try something different. Patricia switched to a small bowl of blueberries mixed with a handful of almonds. The change was remarkable. Her energy remained stable throughout the morning, her blood pressure normalized, and she felt sharper mentally. The difference wasn't the calories or even the nutrition necessarily, it was how her aging body processed the sugars in those different foods. This brings us to the third reason cardiologists are concerned about seniors eating bananas regularly, and it has to do with the delicate balance of sodium and water in your body. As you age, your body's ability to regulate fluids becomes more complicated. Your hormones change, your kidneys work differently, and many of you are taking medications that specifically alter this balance. Diuretics, for example, help your body get rid of excess water and sodium. Blood pressure medications affect how your kidneys filter minerals. When you eat a banana with its high potassium content, your body tries to maintain balance by excreting sodium. But if you're already on medications that are lowering your sodium, or if your body's regulatory systems aren't working as precisely as they once did, you can end up with too little sodium in your blood. Low sodium might not sound dangerous, but it absolutely is. It can cause your blood pressure to drop too low, leading to dizziness, especially when you stand up quickly. You might feel weak, notice swelling in your ankles, or experience an erratic heartbeat. Some seniors become dehydrated without realizing it because the sensation of thirst diminishes with age. When you're dehydrated and your potassium levels are high, your blood becomes thicker, forcing your heart to work much harder to pump it through your body. You might feel short of breath, experience chest discomfort, or even become confused. These symptoms can easily be mistaken for a heart attack or stroke, when in reality they're the result of an electrolyte imbalance that could have been prevented. Helen's story illustrates this perfectly. She was 79, managing her high blood pressure with medication and drinking banana smoothies every afternoon because she'd read they were good for her heart. But she started feeling weak, dizzy when she stood up, and noticed her ankles were swelling more than usual. Her doctor discovered that the combination of her medication and her daily banana intake had created a seesaw effect. Her medication was lowering her sodium while the bananas were raising her potassium. Once she reduced her banana consumption and started paying attention to balancing her electrolytes, her symptoms improved dramatically. Think of it like this: your body is constantly trying to keep sodium and potassium in balance like a seesaw. When medication pushes down on one side and bananas push up on the other, that seesaw can tip too far in either direction. When it does, your muscles don't contract properly, your heart rhythm gets disrupted, and your body struggles to maintain the fluid balance it needs to function. This doesn't mean you can never have a banana, it means you need to be strategic about when and how often you eat them, especially if you're taking medications that affect these minerals. The fourth concern is one that surprises many people, because bananas are often thought of as a low-calorie, diet-friendly food. But the reality is that the way your body processes the sugars and starches in bananas changes dramatically after 70. Your muscle mass naturally decreases with age, your metabolism slows down, and fat, particularly belly fat, accumulates more easily. Bananas have a relatively high glycemic index, meaning they cause your blood sugar and insulin to rise quickly. When insulin surges repeatedly throughout the day, it signals your body to store fat rather than burn it. And the type of fat that accumulates in your midsection isn't just cosmetic, it's metabolically active, meaning it releases inflammatory chemicals into your bloodstream. This inflammation makes your blood vessels stiffer, raises your blood pressure, and increases your risk of atherosclerosis, where plaque builds up in your arteries. Over time, this can lead to heart failure, heart attacks, and strokes. But there's another subtle effect that many seniors don't connect to their banana habit. Because bananas provide quick energy followed by a crash, they can actually make you hungrier sooner. You eat the banana, feel satisfied for a short time, then find yourself reaching for another snack an hour later. This pattern of eating disrupts your metabolism and makes it harder to maintain a healthy weight. Frank, an 82-year-old retiree, couldn't understand why he was gaining weight despite eating what he considered a healthy diet. He was having 2 bananas a day, one with breakfast and one as an afternoon snack. When his doctor suggested he replace those bananas with apples and a small handful of berries, Frank was skeptical, but he gave it a try. Within a few months, he'd lost the extra weight, his blood pressure improved, and he felt more energetic. The difference wasn't dramatic changes to his diet, it was understanding how his aging body responded differently to the same foods he'd eaten his whole life. If you enjoy bananas and don't want to give them up entirely, the key is moderation and pairing. Eating half a banana with some protein like a spoonful of almond butter or some healthy fat like a few walnuts can slow down the absorption of sugar and reduce the insulin spike. This approach gives you the nutrients and energy without the metabolic disruption. You might also consider alternatives that provide similar benefits without the same risks. Avocados, for example, offer even more potassium than bananas but come with healthy fats that support heart health. Apples and pears provide fiber and a slow, steady release of energy that won't cause your blood sugar to crash. Now let's talk about something that might seem unrelated to your heart but is actually deeply connected: your digestion. As you age, your digestive system slows down. The muscles in your intestines don't contract as strongly, your stomach empties more slowly, and your body produces fewer digestive enzymes. Bananas, especially when they're not fully ripe, contain starches that can be harder to break down. This can lead to gas, bloating, and constipation. all of which might seem like minor inconveniences. But here's what most people don't realize: when your digestive system is sluggish, it affects your heart. Bloating and gas put pressure on your diaphragm, which sits right above your stomach. This pressure can make it harder to breathe deeply, forcing your heart to work harder to get oxygen to your tissues. When food sits in your digestive tract longer than it should, toxins and metabolic byproducts can be reabsorbed into your bloodstream. This increases inflammation throughout your body, putting strain on your arteries and disrupting your heart's rhythm. Some seniors experience what feels like chest discomfort or heaviness after eating bananas in the morning, and they worry it's their heart. Often, it's actually their digestive system struggling to process the fruit efficiently. Linda, a 74-year-old woman, noticed she felt bloated and unusually tired every morning after eating her banana with breakfast. She assumed it was just part of getting older, but when she mentioned it to her doctor during a routine checkup, he suggested she try a different breakfast for a couple of weeks. Linda switched to a bowl of oatmeal topped with sliced kiwi and a sprinkle of chia seeds. The bloating disappeared, her energy levels stabilized, and she realized her body was simply telling her it needed foods that were easier to digest. This gut-heart connection is something more seniors need to understand, because digestive health and cardiovascular health are far more intertwined than most people realize. If you do want to continue eating bananas occasionally, there are ways to make them easier on your system. Eat smaller portions, perhaps half a banana instead of a whole one. Pair it with high-fiber foods like oats, yogurt, or chia seeds, which help slow digestion and stabilize blood sugar. Pay attention to how your body feels after eating them. If you notice bloating, fatigue, or any unusual symptoms, that's your body giving you information. Listen to it. So where does all this leave us? Does it mean bananas are dangerous and should be avoided completely? No, not at all. What it means is that the relationship your body has with food changes as you age, and what worked for you at 40 or 50 might not work the same way at 70 or 80. Bananas aren't inherently bad, but they can become problematic when eaten daily without consideration for how your kidneys, heart, blood sugar regulation, and digestive system have changed. The goal isn't to create fear around food. It's to create awareness and empower you to make choices that support your health at this stage of life. Moderation is key. If you love bananas, enjoy one occasionally, but not every single day. Pay attention to portion sizes. Half a banana might give you the taste and some of the nutrients without overwhelming your system. Pair them thoughtfully with proteins, healthy fats, and fiber to slow the absorption of sugar and reduce the impact on your blood sugar. Diversify your fruit choices. Berries, apples, pears, kiwis, these all offer wonderful nutrients, fiber, and energy without the same risks that bananas pose for seniors. And most importantly, talk to your doctor. If you're on medications for your heart, kidneys, or blood pressure, your doctor needs to know what you're eating regularly, because it can absolutely affect how those medications work and how your body handles essential minerals. The beautiful thing about being in your 70s, 80s, or beyond is that you have decades of experience and wisdom. You know your body better than anyone else. You've learned to recognize when something feels off. Trust those instincts. If eating bananas makes you feel tired, bloated, or unwell, that's valuable information. Your body is communicating with you, and the smartest thing you can do is listen and adjust accordingly. This isn't about perfection, it's about balance. It's about giving your heart, your kidneys, your digestive system, and your entire body the support it needs to keep you active, strong, and mentally sharp for years to come. Small changes in your daily habits can have profound effects on your quality of life. Swapping out a banana for a handful of blueberries, choosing an apple instead of a second banana, these aren't sacrifices, they're investments in your long-term health and vitality. So here's what I want you to do. Take a moment today to think about your daily eating habits. Are you relying on bananas as your go-to fruit? Are you eating them every day, maybe even multiple times a day? If so, consider experimenting with alternatives for a couple of weeks and see how you feel. Notice your energy levels, your digestion, how you feel when you stand up quickly. Pay attention. And if you found this information helpful, if it gave you a new perspective on something you've never questioned before, share it with someone you care about. Leave a comment below letting me know what fruit you're going to try instead of bananas, or tell me if you've experienced any of the symptoms we talked about today. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Let's support each other in making informed, empowering choices about our health, because we all deserve to live our best lives at every age.